welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be venting to you an incident that happened to me a few months ago while I was on a public bus on my way coming back home from a doctor's appointment. And it was rush hour, and I was on the bus, and there was a few passengers that came on the bus. It was hot, being that it was the beginning of summer a few months ago. And one of them said under his breath, he said, "Why don't they just use Access-a-Ride?" Now, being that it's rush hour, I didn't even want to start a scene. I just want to get home. So I kept my mouth shut. But it really, when I got home, it really got me quite mad. It got me very frustrated. Very, the more I think about it, the more it irritates me. And for all of you who don't know, Access-a-Ride is the wheelchair transport for the city of New York, and they pick up disabled people to wherever they need to go in the city. And one thing about Access-a-Ride is that, let me tell you a little bit about Access-a-Ride. For one, you have to book the trip the day before. You have to schedule a trip the day before. You can't call up and tell them, "Listen, I need a transport to come pick me up right now." You have to schedule your trip the day before if you want to get anywhere. So that's one. And two, the timetable isn't that great. I mean, I would say for me personally it's 60-40. 60% of the time they're late, 40% of the time they're actually on time. And and when I need to book a trip, I make sure to book at least 2 hours in advance. And you like saying 2 hours in advance, and because I have to give them time just in case if they were late. If they run late and I schedule my trip to come pick me up, an hour time, I may miss my appointment. So I have to schedule my trip at least 2 hours in advance, so that I wouldn't miss my appointment. A lot of times, they will come pick me up and we go straight to the appointment. And I would get there real early, sometimes an hour and a half early, but I at least got there. But sometimes, they will get here really late, and I would not make my appointment. Even with a 2 hour, buffer, I sometimes would actually miss my appointment. And like say 2 hours, and let me say, it's not like I'm going real far. I mean, most of the time for me, it's just from here to Uptown or here to Midtown, or from here to Brooklyn, across the bridge. And, it's not really far away, but the deal is that a lot of times they not just pick up just you. They have to pick up, sometimes they have to pick up 2 or 3 people, so you could be going on a city tour before you actually reach your appointment. So, and people don't understand that, they, at the time when they were coming on to the bus, they like just noticed that there was no seat. They're tired, they just want to sit, it's hot, and you're taking up the seats, or they have to spend time to put the ramp down so you get onto the bus, and they kind of want to get home quick, and they're like, "Oh, it's taking up all this time," and all that other thing. Listen, it's kind of a better mode of transport for me on the bus. You know, I don't need to schedule uh, a trip ahead of time. I could go whenever I want, and and most of the time the bus drivers let you get on for free. You know, there will be one or two times where they will ask you, you know, to put in money, and you know, I wouldn't have any problem with that. I would say, okay, you know, I have a disabled Metro card. I could put in my disabled Metro card in there. That's no problem. But a lot of times they let you get on for free. Accessorize, on the other hand, you have to pay $275 to go and to come back. So that's literally like $550 a trip. So. And for that price, you have to wait. You know, you have to call 2 hours in advance. You gotta call a day before your appointment. You know, it's for me. It is not worth it unless I need to go far out, and then I have no choice. But if I just need to just go midtown or uptown, I would rather take the bus. And for those who say, how about trains? Well, many of the trains and many of the subways in New York City, many of the stations, they don't have elevators that actually reach the platform. I mean, they have elevators that reach the station, which is weird, but they don't have elevators that actually go down to the platform, but have them get onto the station, but not to the platform. So you could be at the station, but you can't get down to the platform. What's that going to be? You know, you still can't get anywhere. And even if you get down to the platform, a person with a motorized chair can't get onto the train. There is a little small gap between the platform and the train. Unless you plan to drag around a sheet of metal to put between the platform and the train all the time to get onto the train. And even if you get onto the train and you go to whatever you need to go, it's not guaranteed that that station would have elevators to get back up to the street. So you really can't get around in terms of if you have, you know, a motorized chair or a wheelchair on a through subway in New York City. So what other modes of transport you have? You either have, you know, bus or Access-a-Ride. Now, Access-a-Ride, I try to use sparingly for the fact that I have to book a trip a day in advance, and I have to have a buffer of 2 hours before my appointment or wherever I need to go. So I would usually only book it if I need to go out borough. And, you know, but if I was in New York City or in the city and I need to go midtown, I take bus. It's the simplest way to get around for me. And, you know, I understand that sometimes it may be an inconvenience to some people for, you know, to have to wait like 5 minutes or 10 minutes for me to get onto the bus before we can keep going, you know. But, you know, that's how I need to get around. And people need to understand, you know, that, you know, if I was able to walk or, you know, I don't need to rely on a chair, then it would be no problem. But unfortunately for me, that's not the case. You know, I can't walk like, you know, people, you know, that they will walk, they take it for granted, you know. They don't think, you know, they could get wherever they need to go. And a lot of times people don't even say, "Oh, I don't like to walk. It's so hot. I was tired already. It's like I'd rather be able to walk in the heat than not be able to walk at all. You know. So I just want to let this out. You know, so you guys could understand. You know how difficult it is to get around, especially when you're immobile. And you know, leave comments. I mean, maybe you think that person had a right to say what he said on the bus a few months ago. You know, maybe you feel that, you know, yeah, why don't, you know, people with wheelchairs, you know, should just rely on accessorized instead of, you know, taking space in buses, you know. You know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Like I said, you know, this is a video that I want to vent to everybody. So, like and subscribe. And, if I have anything to vent on next time, you know, waiting for that video. So everyone have a nice day. Take care.